They think I've gone crazy because I chose Christ over what they think. Worldly situations just don't faze me. Too busy making sure my Father saved me.
If you want to see how I made 2 corsets but 4 different styles, stay tuned to the end of the video. I also made this dress, but unfortunately I didn't record a tutorial for it. So yeah, thanks for watching. Today we're going to be doing a sew along with me. We'll be sewing the Butterwick 4669 pattern. And this is for a corset. I'll be doing 2 corsets but 4 different styles as you see from the title of the video. So most of the video will be a voiceover just because I don't have the quietest background. So yeah.
Lord, I'm separated.
Here you just see me cutting out the pieces for the pattern. And the sewing weights is something that I DIY'd from the Home Depot tile. I'm sure there's many videos on YouTube where you can find how to do so. And I just got some stickers from the Dollar Tree to decorate them. They aren't the best, but it gets the job done. It serves its purpose.
A life that is poured out for you. All I wanna do is bring you glory.
Here I'm just showing how I cut the interfacing for each piece, and honestly I feel like I wasted a lot of material. So if anyone has a more strategic way to cut the interfacing, then please let me know in the comment section. I'll also link a picture just to show exactly what kind of interfacing that I'm using.
So I become less, he must become greater. Lord, I wanna live a life that honors you. I wanna live a life that is poured out.
So here I have all of the pieces interfaced and ironed on, and now I'm going to pin together the side front with the side back and go to the sewing machine. I did not adjust the ease properly, so it did give it some puckers, which is not too noticeable. In the end you'll see, but I know now that I have to sew the ease inside of the side front, not the side back.
And honor, it's all for you, none of me. It's more of you, less of me. All for your kingdom, all for your glory. He must become greater, so I become less. He must become.
And of course I have to press those seams before I move on with any other step. Pressing seams is like the most satisfying part of sewing, because it definitely does make a huge difference. So no matter what you do, before you move on, make sure you press those seams.
Yours is the kingdom and glory. Yours is the power forever and ever and ever. Yours is the kingdom.
Now I'm going to go ahead and pin the corset pieces together, being sure to match them at the shoulder seams first. This is important because you want everything to line up properly. This pattern calls for us to put them wrong sides together. So we'll be assembling these with the right sides on the outside and finishing them with the bias. Pins, pins, and more pins. I believe in using as many pins as possible just because fabric can tend to shift around as you're sewing. So make sure you're taking your time.
Lord, I'm separated. I'm living life for you. I lay my life down at your feet for your use. Come purify my heart, clean out my mind, so I can live a life that's pleasing to you. A life that is poured out for you. All I wanna do is bring you glory and honor. It's it's all for you, none of me. It's more of you, less of me. All for your kingdom, all for your glory. He must become greater, so I become lesser. He must become greater, so I become lesser. He must become greater, so I become lesser. He must become greater. Lord, I wanna live a life that honors you. I wanna live a life that is poured out for you. A life that pleases you, a life that honors you in all that I do. Ooh, I wanna walk away from those things that pull me away from your presence. Jesus, I want nothing to do with that. Help me have nothing to do with, 'cause all I wanna do is bring you glory and honor. It's all for you, none of me. It's more of you, less of me. All for your kingdom, all for your glory. He must become greater, so I become lesser. He must become greater, so I become lesser. He must become greater, so I become lesser. He must become greater. Yours is the kingdom and glory. Yours is the kingdom and glory. Yours is the power forever and ever.
Okay, so I've basted around the entire bodice corset thingy, and I'm sitting here watching videos because the instructions is not really, or I'm not really understanding the instructions on how to bind around the edges and what way should I do it first. So I just watched the video, and I'll link her name in the video or the description, who I'm using as a reference. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do the boning. And I say this because I like the way that it looks better, and I was not going to do it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. And being that I went around the bodice with the longest stitch length possible, I can just open it up at the bottom where I choose to insert the boning. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out and prep the seams for where I want to insert the boning, as well as where the grommets will be placed. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and I'm just hoping that this all comes together well. So yeah, let's see how that goes.
Lord, I'm separated. I'm living life for you. I lay my life down at your feet for your use. Come purify my heart, clean out my mind, so I can.
As you can see, I'm just marking out the eyelet places. I'm actually using eyelets instead of grommets, and I'll also be using zip ties for the boning as opposed to actual boning, because when I was at the store I started to buy some, but then I read the pattern and it doesn't call for it. But of course I changed my mind along the way, so I'm just using what I have on hand, because I'm not gonna go out and purchase extra material, because we're trying to be as budgetable as possible. Allow me to share with you my many thoughts when it came to the bias portion of this pattern. Of course, you can't have any sewing project without having some hiccups and some difficulties. So I'm still totally confused on how to do the binding portion of this project. I don't know too. As far as the armhole goes, so how to stitch that. I watched the videos, I watched even more videos, and I am even more confused. I thought this was going to be reversible, but maybe I don't know.
This night, not only was I getting frustrated because I couldn't figure out the armhole bias tape situation, then my needle started jamming.
All I wanna do is bring you glory and honor. It's all for you, none of me.
I then also realized I purchased the wrong bias tape.
So after all the shenanigans about how to finish the binding for the front, you know, the edges of the corset, I realized that I went to Joann's and I bought single fold bias tape, and I need double fold. So this is something we'll have to put off until tomorrow.
It was pretty frustrating because sometimes I get to a point in sewing where I'm just like really trying to get it done, because not only am I sewing, but I'm also a mom and a fiance. So here I am picking my fiance's brain, and I love him because he always supports me and try to be so supportive when it comes to these points in my sewing projects. So shout out to you, babe. Here I am triple checking the pattern, making sure all my T's are crossed and all my I's are dotted, because once getting started, I don't want to have to seam rip anything. Here I am with the correct bias tape, and I just quickly wanted to say, out of all the videos that I've watched on this pattern, no one showed this process, and I'm assuming because it's so complicated.
Lord, I'm separated. I'm living life for you. I lay my life down at your feet.
I'm not even going to lie, I did try to skip over a step during this portion of the sewing, and it totally backfired on me because I did not get the correct inseam on the inside. Being that this is a reversible corset, it does make a huge difference. Not gonna sweat it though. I'll try to hand sew to correct my mistake, because again, I don't want to have to seam rip anything.
Glory and honor, it's all for you, none of me. It's more of you, less of me. All for your kingdom, all for your glory. He must become greater, so I become lesser. He must become greater, so I become lesser. He must become.
A quick tip when it comes to boning: you want to make sure that your channels are just right in size, because if you make it too big, it won't give it that crisp look. But then if you make it too small, you'll have hell trying to stick in your boning, or zip ties in my case. It can get really difficult, and here you see me filing the edges just to make sure that we get a curved edge so it doesn't poke through the fabric. In this clip here, you do get a quick glimpse of the puckering I was referring to earlier in the video, where I did not allocate the ease properly. Here I am trying on the corset once I'm down to the finishing touches. Don't mind the wrinkles in my shirt. I just put on a shirt that was similar to the look that I was going for. I honestly feel like it was a little bit small in the underarm area. I feel like I possibly could have went a size up. Let me know what you all think. On to the review.
He must become greater, so I become lesser. He must become greater, so I become lesser. He must become greater, so I become lesser. He must become greater. Yours is the kingdom and glory. Yours is the kingdom.